Okay, so this is Dominique, and she is Alphabet Bates's driver. She's also a lavender two-hand puppet, and I'm going to take their eyes off and make her into another character. This is our eye bank. There's lots of different characters, so eyes in here, and the noses are over here. It's very, very carefully pinned so it stays on. I'll just pin it like that. Now usually there's 3 or 4 pins. And then this wig comes off. It's sort of like playing Mr. Potato Head, like when you were a kid, you know? My name is Cheryl Blaylock, and I was born in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I started working for Sesame Street in 1978. When I was starting to develop, there was very few women puppeteers on Sesame Street. And Jim Henson asked me if I knew of any, and I was like, you know. And so I really worked hard to do my design and building work and also develop as a performer. Jim Henson was, it's even still hard for me to speak of him in past tense. He was Kermit, you know? His personality really was like Kermit. He ran a big creative company like the center of a hurricane, you know, the calm in the center, until he went crazy. There's a note, a memo that Jim Henson sent around the company to say that Cheryl Blaylock and Marty Robinson are our new puppeteers, and they're going to be working in a separate room, and we have a setup with cameras and lights, and so that they can learn monitor technique. This is such a treasure. So nice. He was genius. I would have to say, working with Jim Henson has, felt like I had been touched by genius. Darling Von Darling, Bruce Stringbean, The Beatles. I didn't always know I wanted to go in that direction. That's kind of the theme of my life. It's just been either for a personal growth reason to study a certain subject, or because it's like, oh, that sounds good, I bet I'd be good at that, you know? Go, Juicer, go! Go, go, go! Television puppeteering, you're dependent on what you see in a monitor, and that monitor is not a mirror image. So when you move the puppet this way, it's moving that way in the image, and you have to rearrange your brain to figure that out. So it takes a long time to get the monitor technique. So Eureka's Castle, it was a Nickelodeon show, and it was about a young sorceress who was a wizard in training, and she was always experimenting with her magic. Well, Eureka's Castle and Sesame Street is the same kind of hand and rod Muppetry, although the Eureka puppets were not Muppets. I played Eureka. I got the title role. I was like, okay, this is it. This is my big break. I guess I would tell my younger self if I was starting over again. Be brave, dive in, just make mistakes. Because you keep making better mistakes, I did plenty of that, to just dive in and see what happens. And then there's a process of self-forgiveness, when you humiliate yourself. But it's kind of the world of comedy, really, you go up there and you either kill or die. COVID changed everything. So I was getting calls from teachers that were asking me to visit their classrooms. And I would usually take a puppet or make puppets with the kids. And I couldn't figure out how to visit a Zoom classroom with the puppet, read a story, hold the book, puppeteer at the same time. So I said, well, how about if I just make you a video and she's telling a story, and then I can visit your classroom. So that's kind of how Miss Cherry's Library came about.
I am Miss Cherry of Miss Cherry's Library. I am the librarian of the forest. My library has a specialty, you know. It's all about trees and nature and things like that. That's why all the books are in the trees.
Working at home it was okay for me to be on camera by myself, but to not have anyone else in the room checking, to be the lighting and the directing and the camera person. To be it all was a little daunting.
All right, rolling. And rolling. Okay, here we go. Oh, there's some lovely books here. I can't wait to read them all, can't you? Oh, it's going to be so much fun.
I think there's 7 stories. I'm not sure if I'll be adding more to them. They may just be those 7 stories.
Nighty-night.
So I was busy minding my own business, doing my little projects, and then I got a call about a mammogram that they wanted to take a second look at, and turned out to be positive. So everything changed. That just kind of shifted my focus to taking care of my health and dealing with the sort of possible monster that cancer is. And then finding other creative outlets. So I was doing an email update to people who were interested in what I was going through. Sometimes it was a dialogue, sometimes it was a poem. And my friend Leslie Carrera Rudolph said, this is reading like a graphic novel. It should be a graphic novel. And then other people said, well, you're a puppeteer, you should make it into a puppet show. And I'm like, I think Leslie's right. I think it's a graphic novel. Well, it's called The Saga of Judy Idawana. So Judy Idawana is a little troll who has sort of lived in my left armpit for a very long time. And she's the one who just doesn't want to do anything. We all have one of those little characters, I think. It's just like, no, I don't wanna. Judy goes to a sort of a Jedi training academy, and she discovers she has wings. And she has a lot more strength than she ever thought she would. It's far enough along in the process that we can start looking for artists.
Hello. Good morning. Lara, how are you?
So what I intended with the book is to educate and entertain and hopefully just give comfort to people who are going through the process. There's the graphic novel, and I really love my garden. I spent a lot of time in my garden in Riverside Park. It's nice to have more energy because the fatigue level of going through the cancer treatments was a year and a half of just slogging through and feeling like you're a walking chemistry lab, Writing a graphic novel was not on my list, but struggles can be turned into art. That's why I say everything just evolves from one thing to the next. And you question whether you're up for the challenge. And it's like, well, let's try it.